Hi, my name is Khalif. Well, my channel name is Happy Khalifi. Or is it? No, it's Gogo Khalifi. Oh, gosh, this is so hard already. Welcome to my channel. So, for my first video, I figured that I would talk about something that I just have never really talked about, and it's just like a really pressing matter, so let's jump right in. I want to talk about the time that I worked at Food Lion. I know, it's really controversial. Sorry, I just realized that locks are the itchiest hairstyle in the world after having them for almost like 5 years. They're just so itchy today, I don't know why, that's why I need to keep this on me. I stay ready, I stay strapped. I want to talk about working at Food Lion because I was just thinking about it, and it's the summertime. Last summer, I was working at Food Lion, and I applied this summer because I thought they'd obviously hired me. I've worked at Food Lion before. Granted, it's not the same Food Lion, but aren't you guys linked? Like, aren't you guys connected? Like, am I seeing this wrong? Like, so they didn't hire me. They didn't call me and say that I didn't get the job, but they didn't hire me. So I was just, it just led me, I don't know, it just like kind of led me to be like, this is weird. Like, this is like really weird. So after not being contacted back about this, I was like, you know, I don't even want to fucking work there right now. Like, I don't want, no, like, I'm not gonna do it. I didn't like it when I did the first time. So that led me to start thinking about when I did it the first time, and let me tell you, it was not fun. Okay, now I'm not saying if you want to work at Food Lion, don't do that. I'm just saying that working at any store, working in general, like, you come to realize that, you know, people kind of suck a little. Like, I don't want to dog on, because the Food Lion that I worked at last summer, it was mainly just a bunch of old people, because in that area, it was a lot of, like, old people. But I'm just saying, like, old people, I know I'm gonna get old one day. Shut up. But, like, y'all kind of stink sometimes, and not this way. Actually, that way too. Let's unpack that. I'm just kidding. Let me just tell you what it was like working at Food Lion for the first time last summer. Okay? So, I apply. I don't get the job. What? But you worked there. What you worked? I didn't get the job because the manager who was in charge of hiring people, I'm not gonna say her name. We don't have beef. I don't know. I'm just not gonna say her name. She said that she wasn't gonna hire me because, one, I didn't want to work the weekends, and she was like, I need people that have open availability because I don't even remember the reason, but probably because not a bunch of people were saying that they didn't want to work the weekend, and she was like, I can't keep having this. So I was like, okay, I respect it, whatever. My mom goes up there and she asks if they're hiring, and the same person who didn't accept my application is like, yeah, actually we are hiring. Do you know anyone that would like a job? And my mom's like, yeah, my son, he would like a job here. He actually already applied. And then Miss Manager goes and looks at my application, and she's like, this guy? You see, we didn't hire him because he said that he couldn't work the weekends. And my mom was like, oh, he can work the weekends. He doesn't do anything. Which I'm like, okay, thanks, Mom. Like, yeah, you got me the job, whatever. Like, I'm, like, glad, like it's cool. But, like, yeah, I didn't want to work the weekends, but it's because it was summertime, and I just got out of school, and I was like, bitch, I want to relax, I want to do this. But I realized that you can't relax in this lifetime. You can't relax because nothing slows down for you, honey. You need to hustle, and you need to grind. And that was something that I'm still not willing to accept, to be honest. I'm still, like, oh, that's up in the air for me. But the manager's like, okay, fine. He can get the job just as long as he can work the weekends. So she basically gets me the job, and then I get an interview. I go in for the interview. It goes like this. Other than the fact that I was there for hours doing, like, the manual stuff, like all the rules and stipulations, and then how to cashier, all that. I was there for hours, literally. And then I just left after a while because the manager was gone. Like, I couldn't find her. She was like, come see me, come find me after you take all this tests and do all this paperwork and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. So she won't there. So then I leave, and then I text her, and then I get like an app that tells me when I'm on the schedule and whatnot. And so I'm like, man, bitch, I got the job. So the next time I go in, on like a scheduled day that she's scheduled for me, she gives me a shirt, and she's like, welcome to the team. She didn't actually say that, but, oh, great. I like just retwisted my hair a couple weeks ago. Oh my god, it's only been a week since I retwisted my hair, like a freak. And I get a job, I get a shirt, and then basically, I'm on the force, all right? I'm repping Food Lion. I got the blue colors. I got the tag, got the name tag with the sticker on it. I got a little lanyard with a card,
which is just a piece of paper with a barcode on it.
and I get a password set up so that I can log in on the cash register. But before I'm even on the register, I'm watching people on the register. That was my assignment for the day. I watched her on the register. Miss Mary, her name was Mary. She was on the register. I figured I'd say her name because there's so many Marys in the world. But I was on the register for that, or I was watching her on the register, and she was showing me the business, okay? She was showing me all the little doohickeys, all the little shingamabobs. But you see, things get a little bit hazy when like it's your first day, you know? Like, yeah, I was there, but like, was I really there? Was I really present in the moment watching? No. For the most part, yeah, I'm really good at paying attention. But there was just something, like, I can barely remember the shit she showed me. Like, she showed me how to, like, wipe down the conveyor belt. Big whoop. I know how to do that. I can do that in my sleep. She showed me how to open the register. That's kind of, like, the easiest part. Like, you just click a button and you put in your password.
Or whatever.
Like, that's easy. Like, I need to know the technical stuff because, trust me, the technical stuff is going to come up. And no one has time to teach the newbies. No one has time to teach the newbies. So, when it's actually my turn to be cashier, like when it's actually my first day, I'm a cashier. They got me on the express lane because, I'm new there. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. When I tell you I was shaking, I don't know why I was so nervous. Like, I was so anxious. It was my first job ever. I was in the express lane like this. And people were trying to talk to me. And then the first little mistake happens when an old lady's there. And she was nice. She was kind. She was awesome. She was great. She had like a couple items. I was scanning. But I wasn't paying attention to the person after her who also put their things on the conveyor belt. My bad. And lo and behold, I'm scanning his items into her items. And things get a little bit confused. She immediately explained to me, she's like, oh wait, that's not mine. These things aren't mine. And I'm like, oh, sorry. So then I like try to think back into my brain. I'm like, okay. This is my first lesson, and this is where I need to acquire all my knowledge. So, like, my phone died. But as I was saying, it didn't fucking die. I ran out of storage. But anyways, as I was saying, I had to acquire all of my knowledge, and I had to remember how the fuck do I unscan things. So I remembered how to do it. I didn't have to call somebody, but in that moment when I made a mistake, I realized that this is life or death. Like, someone could seriously get hurt, and I need to choose if that person's going to be me or the customer. Preferably the customer. That was the end of that day. Like, I hated it. And I preferred working self-checkout because I got to interact less with people, and I just had to stand there the whole day. Which really, it wasn't that bad. Like, I have a really active imagination, and I think about so much shit. Like, I just be thinking, and I can actively tune out and tune back in when I want to. Like, so I worked self-checkout for a lot of days, but there were some days where I had to work that damn register, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on when I had to work it, okay? I wouldn't go really fast because I think I'm gonna run out of storage again. But basically, I worked register a good amount of times, and when I did work it, oh my god, it was a catastrophe. So some people would come in with very specific, like, requirements. Like, some people were doing, like, I don't know what it's called, like shop and goes or like orders. They were doing orders so that when they came in, they were getting stuff for other people and they were using like cards for it. Like they were using like different cards for it. So they were like, okay,
I need all this to be on this card, and I need all this to be on this card, and I need all this to be on this card. And then I need you to scan this too. Scan it.
and I was just like, okay. Like I'm not really understanding, but like I guess I'm good at following directions. I told y'all I'm good at following directions, but like it can get a little bit tricky sometimes. Like I don't, like guys, I'm human. I'm not perfect. I never said I was perfect. I'm very close though. But another time that some shit went wrong was, this is probably one of my biggest L's when I was working there. But honestly, I don't really consider it an L. I love doing charity. So this woman came in and she had a baby. That's not relevant to the story. But she had a cart full of shit. Okay? I only scanned like 2 of them bitches before I let her go. Now let me explain to y'all what happened. She wanted to pay some of it on one card and then pay the rest of it on another card. I think. Either it was, y'all, when I tell you I have no clue, I think that's what happened. It's either that or she wanted to pay some of it with cash and then the rest of it on card. I think that was it. No, that was a different time. Oh my gosh, this happened to me so many times. But she wanted to pay some of it one way and some of it another way. So I started the transaction because I'm a good employee and I'm hardworking. So I started the transaction. I pressed a few buttons and then poof. The screen, I ended the transaction somehow, which means I had scanned a ton of her shit or none of her shit. I honestly can't remember. And there was a ton more of her shit in the cart. So I scanned some and then I completely ended the transaction. And it was like really late. It was like probably like almost 11, which is when that Food Lion closed. So it was we were really close and she had a cart full of shit and I was like, ma'am, I don't know what happened. I think I just ended the transaction, so you can just go. I literally said that. I was like, yeah, I don't know what happened, so like, you can just go. Like, and then she was like, are you sure? And I was like, because her cart was stacked. I'm telling you, shit was stacked on top of each other like it was fucking Jenga. And I was like, yeah, you can just leave. Like, I'm sure, like, yeah, just go. Like, yeah, just go. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, just go. And so she was like, okay. So she walked out with damn near 2 carts of shit for free. And when I tell you, I was like looking over my shoulder to make sure none of the managers were there. I was like, I don't think any of them saw what happened. But if they saw what happened, oh my God, I don't think I would have been fired on the spot. I think I would have gotten they would have been so mad at me. They would have been so mad. But honestly, I don't care. I consider it a W in my eyes because she got a bunch of shit for free. And I know that made her day. I know it. I know it made her day, even though it was the end of the day. I know it made her day because she got it all for free. And I know she's a hardworking woman and she loves me and she thinks about me all the time. But another time this happened to me. Another time at fucking cashier, I hated being the cash register. I hated it. But another time this happened to me. This man, he only had like 3 things. Okay, he wanted to pay some of it in cash and then some of it in card. I ended the transaction. I told him to get out of here. I told him to go. You got it for free. You got it. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know. This happened to me so many times. And I feel like I've tried asking about this and I've had this explained to me. But people, because it's such a busy day, like, everything is happening on the clock. People have other jobs and they don't have enough time to teach me like the exact way to do it. That's why I like self-checkout more because it's less technical. It's less technical. Like, yeah, sometimes shit doesn't scan. Big whoop. All you gotta do is type in the numbers of said item and boom, you got it. And just wait and boom, 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 boom. Other times, it runs out of money. Look, I'm not the man for that. I know how to do it. You can unlock it. You can open it up. You run back there, get the money. Look, I don't have the key to all that. Like, I don't. So, other times, you just deal with rude customers. And I can deal with rudeness, but there's only so much a man can take. So one time at self-checkout, a fucking, an angel of an old man came in. And this man, when I tell you, he was in a fucking mood, all right? He was in a wheelchair, and he was wheeling his ass around, and boy was he pissed off. I just don't know what to do. Like, I literally, like, one time, oh no, this wasn't him. This was another person. But he came in and he needed help finding something. And I was like, first of all, I can't even remember what he was looking for. I think it was like some cigarettes or something. I can't remember what it was, but he got mad at me that I wasn't able to help him because one, I was new. I had only worked there for, I think, less than 3 weeks at that time. And he needed help with something and I couldn't help him. I'm sorry, I couldn't be the guy. And he was like, "Oh,
Well, don't you work here? Don't you work here?"
I was like, bitch, you think I have all the answers? You think I'm an omniscient being? You think I'm fucking God? Like, I know I work here. Yes, I do. But I don't have all the answers. And you're getting mad at the wrong guy, my guy. But he got his karma because he was a dumb bitch. So self-checkout, there's a ton of them that say, you know, cash only or card only. And lo and behold, this man came with cash and he went to the wrong checkout. So, of course, I watched him. I watched him struggle with his cash in the machine because I'm a menace to society. And I was like, you think you're about to pay cash at this machine. But little do you know, this machine only takes cards. So I waited until he called me over and he was like, where do I put my cash in this? And I was like, sir, this machine is card only. It doesn't take cash. And he was like, well, why doesn't it? Oh, it does say that. And I was like, yeah, it fucking does, buddy. It fucking does. It does say card only. It does say that. Sorry, I'm so close to you. So he just wheeled himself over to the next machine. And I was like, this is great. I hope you have the day you deserve. I wasn't going to say he deserves to have a terrible day because he could have already been having a bad day. I mean, he was in a wheelchair. So I was like, fuck, if I was in a wheelchair, I'd be pissed off too sometimes. And that was the end of that. But, you know, another time, this woman came at me because, you know, and it's the funniest thing, you know, she came at me because in her little catalog, you know, where it has all the coupons and shit, and it tells you about the deals that are going on in the shop that week for this amount of time, she realized the prices were adding up. And she came over to me, she's like, oh, this is supposed to be this much. Yeah, this is supposed to be this much, and it says it's this much. Why is that? And I was like, looking at the catalog, and I was like, oh, did it not show up? Did you scan your MVP card? Because that's an option at Food Lion. And she was like, yeah, I already scanned it. Isn't that crazy? I already scanned my MVP card. She wasn't being this hostile. But she was like, I already scanned my MVP card and, like, it's not working. Like, the price isn't going down. Like, this is supposed to be this much. You guys are having a deal on this. And it's not showing up on my screen. So I was like, wow, that's, like, so weird. I don't know why that would be. And then she was like, well, can you get somebody? He was like, well, can you get somebody that does know about this? I mean, come on, like, seriously. And I was like, fuck, okay. So I marched my little booty over to somebody that does know about what the fuck is going on. Lo and fucking behold, this bitch came in with an old catalog. This wasn't even for the right week. And she's getting mad at me because she's getting mad at me because the price isn't reflecting what's on that old catalog. The price isn't gonna look like that now, bitch. Anyways, so someone comes over and they're like, oh, this is old. And then she's like, oh my god, don't I feel stupid? What? I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry about that. I thought it was a new catalog. I didn't know it was an old one. I'm just like, yeah, all that sass, all that back talk, swallow it, digest it, and shit it out. And you're not looking back in my store. Oh, I was really upset about that. I feel like there's something else big, like that's big that I'm missing. Well, there's a few times when I was working self-checkout and I watched a man loot our entire store. Look, that's not in my job description. Okay, I'm not a police officer. I'm not security. I'm not about to be hunting down these bad apples. All right. It was this big white guy who was kind of huge in a big ass red shirt. He had a cart full of shit. He almost had 2 carts full of shit. And I literally watched this man in my self checkout in front of my eyes scan like 3 items. Like, I kid you not, he was like, beep, beep, beep. That man got away with over like $200 worth of shit. Like, I'm not even joking you, and I watched it all happen. I watched it unfold. Like, oh, I'm sorry. What the fuck do you want me to do? This man was huge. He was huge. And I was like, should I go and tell someone at first? Because I was like, but then I'll have to leave self-checkout. And my manager literally hates it when I leave self-checkout. She's like, you can't leave it unattended because somebody can steal. And I'm like, girl, somebody could do that while I'm there. And lo and behold, they did. That man got away with so much merchandise. Honestly, I was like, I respect it. I mean, I respect the hustle. I respect the grind. Like, he fucking robbed us. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And I let him go. I'll let him walk out. What am I supposed to do? I worked there for like, this happened when I was only this happened actually, I think, in less time than when the guy in the wheelchair came in. So I think it's like 2 weeks. And I was just on self-checkout, just like standing there. I don't even know what the right protocol to be for that. Just like, oh, tell a manager. What's the manager gonna do? Call the police? Like, I'm not about to have that happen. Like, I'm not about to be the reason why someone goes to jail. Like, the man was obviously stealing because he has no money. And it's not like he was stealing like shit that you don't need. Like, he was stealing food. Like, he was stealing a bunch of frozen goods and like other shit. And I was like, and canned goods. And I was like, you know, I'm for the people. Food Lion doesn't really care about us. Yeah, that was a crazy time. Another time was when my manager got really mad at me because I left self-checkout. But the thing is, I don't just up and leave self-checkout when there are people checking out. Like, bro, this is actually crazy because every time that I would leave self-checkout, nobody was there. So I would like go and tell her that I'm about to clock out. And she would be like, okay, who's watching self-checkout? And I was like, I wanted so badly to be like, nobody's there. There's no customers checking out right now. There's nobody checking out. So you can stop with this attitude, because if someone was checking out, I would be over there watching them, making sure that they don't need my help. But she would get so mad. She'd be like, girl, what did I tell you about leaving self-checkout? Like, you can't leave self-checkout, because if you leave self-checkout, somebody can walk out with a bunch of merchandise. I was like, bitch, somebody already did while I was there. I'm sorry, I can't help you. Oh my god, I hope she never sees this video. I don't actually mean it, can't. Manager. It's really hot in here. Like, she'd be really mad. Like, another time when my brothers came down last summer, I remember I made the mistake of telling her a little bit too late that I wouldn't be able to come into work for the X amount of days. And she was like really upset about it. Like, it was over text, but she was upset about it, okay? Like, girl, bro, I was like, I can't come in for these days. And she was like, I think her response was like, why are you only now telling me this? And I was like, oh my god, wait, are we doing this? Okay. And I was like, okay, I'm really sorry. Like, it's been really stressful. My brothers are all coming down and we're getting prepared to like travel. And I was like, I'm really, really sorry. And plus I'm new. So cut me some fucking slack. I know some people are like, well, that's common sense. Okay, look. I don't want to hear it, okay? It was a mistake. And she was literally like, She was just like, wow, okay. Like, she texted me, wow, okay. And I was like, and I should have known that because tons of the other people that work there do not fuck with her. Like, before I even was there for a month, I heard about people being like, yeah, I don't like her. I don't like her. We don't like her. And people were talking shit about her. And I was like, damn, this is crazy. And then when she would come in next time, they'd be smiling in her face. And I was like, fuck. I'm sorry you had to see that. But just overall, like, I don't think that place was understaffed, but there just wasn't a lot of people working there. It felt like I barely went on my breaks, and it's not like it was a big break. It's like a 15, if that. I think it's a 10. It was a 10-minute. It was a 10-minute break. But I would barely go on my 10-minute break because I would be standing there, stomach empty, legs hurting. Sorry, excuse me. Shoulders quaking. I don't know what it is, but when I stand really for a long time, my shoulders start to hurt because I think it's like the weight of my arms just like down. I don't know if that happens to anyone else, but that would happen to me, and it was very painful going through that alone. And like there would barely be, like, I would have to actually like go search for someone to watch self-checkout for me. And when I was on register, don't even think about going on break, buddy. Don't even think about it, because there were some days where this shop was so busy that I would have line after person with a cart full of shit. Like, oh my god. And I would go, and I would, on my break, I would go, I would buy a sandwich, I would eat that sandwich as fast as I fucking could, because I don't have very much time. And then I would go back to work. I would go back to fucking work. You know, you have to. In this day and age, you have to go back to work. You have to grind, or else you'll get left behind. Grind or get left behind, I say. Well, anyways, that was my experience at Food Lion. I would not work there again. I will not. I need to find another way to make money. Because I'm a 19-year-old person. I mean, I'm a 19-year-old... I was gonna say boy, but then I was like... But, like, I'm about to turn 20. But then, I don't want to say man, because I'm 19. You know what? Fuck it. I'm a 19-year-old man. I'm about to turn 20 in June. On June, I should say. On the fucking 1st, declaring me King of June and King of Pride Month. I don't make the rules. Sorry, I'm being really weird. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you subscribed, because honestly, it would really mean a lot to me. Also, my birthday's coming up, so it'd be like a birthday present for me. So anyways, bye. Thanks for watching. Love you. Mwah.